Hey guys, it's Maria with Meet Me at Zero, and I just want to thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to my YouTube channel, for the conversations, the comments, the encouragement, the new subscribers. Just thank you. And today I just wanted to talk about colorism real quick. I read an article last week, and I've been praying about it in the church, New Spring Church, where I attend. They talked about racism, and they talked about all the elephants in the room. And I felt like I needed to talk about colorism because it pretty much explains why I identify so much with R&B music, why I know so much about the African culture and my own and the Hispanic culture. And so if you have not watched my videos, I always recommend that you start from the first one, just because I'm going down a timeline and I cover, my upbringing, my mom, my dad, up till now. But I was born in New York, and New York to me is like United Nations. You see everything in New York. And then my parents moved to Philly, and we lived on the west side. My school group back then consisted of Anna Ortiz. There was Olga and Daisy Melendez, who were sisters, Wanda McCoy, who was black, and Juanita Hurden. And we went to school together, Stetson Junior High. And so that's what I knew my group to be. And it was very diverse in my neighborhood. There were black people and Hispanic people. There were really not, I don't remember any white folks living where we lived. And so then we moved to Puerto Rico, which everybody is Hispanic. Everybody is, Puerto Rican. And then it made me appreciate and fall in love with the side of me that was constantly being put down, or I would hear comments. So let me explain. So in high school, the boy that I liked looked black, but he was interested in the white looking girls, because the term that was thrown around a lot is like, you have to improve your race. And I remember my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, a term of endearment was negrita, and I was usually called a negrita, which is Negro with a girl connotation, because I was the dark-skinned with the nappy hair. And what does nappy hair mean? That means that I relaxed my hair. My hair would probably be an afro of some kind if I didn't put chemicals in it, because I like it to be straight. And so as a small child, my grandmother taught me how to put a relaxer in, and taught me how to take care of my hair. And even, I would say, and I'm going to be very transparent, my grandmother, who passed away, God bless her soul, always made the comment that for some reason it was better to marry a person that was white than a person that was of color. My mother has made the same reference, and I hear, and it was part of our society. And now when I listen to, or when I see black folks, I can understand, because if you have a whole black family, just like my family, we're all different colors. We're all Hispanics, but light-skinned people are treated differently than dark-skinned people. The craziness is, back home, I'm considered dark. Here, I'm considered light. But it's, to me, ridiculous and crazy that we you can have siblings in the same house, and the light-skinned ones will get treated better than the darker ones. I've seen it, I've heard it in many of the conversations. My grandmother's favorite grandson was Jose, my brother, and that was no secret to anyone. And he was the lighter skin of all, and she loved him dearly. And so when we talk about it now, we understand. And when I talk to my aunts about life, that's just the way people talk, and they still talk. How better treatment some get, or viewed as beautiful, versus somebody who's not so dark. So for me as a child, listening to everyone critique either my hair, um, or my color, or listening to the comments, I remember that my escape, most of the time, which is even now, I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is usually turn my radio on, my praise and worship music. It's usually gospel or contemporary gospel. But back then, I bought a little radio that I would keep under my pillow, and I listened to R&B. So I'm an 80s child, which means I listen to all types of music. I have 9 siblings, and we all listen to about similar genre because we're all 80s kids. Some like country more than others. Some like more of a soft rock. For me, out of all of us, I would say that I'm the only one that fell in love with Motown and R&B. And it started with, I got a little radio that was under my pillow, and whenever I wasn't doing chores, because I wasn't allowed to go out, I would lay in my bed and listen to music, or read the paper, or read a magazine that my dad would pick up for me. And so in that, I would pick up a radio station that was out of the U.S. Virgin Islands. And during the week, it had regular R&B. It had, Johnny Gill. It had all the old school music along with Motown. And then on the weekends, it would have the Winans, and it would have Shirley Caesar. And it really caught my attention, and it's just what I preferred. And so even in watching movies and TV, I always was drawn to the thing that was pointed out the most about me. And so if you ask me about Black history, I probably know more than most Black people about music, anything regarding, and it was just fascinating to me, that the thing that was pinpointed the most was what I fell in love with. And so today, I love myself. I'm confident in myself. I think that we're all attracted to something, and it's for different reasons, because we were told, for me, it was because I've dated white, I've been married to white. But I heard it enough that you think you need white to do better. You need white to improve your life. It was never in my mind that I would have kids with a white person or a Black person. I didn't even know what the heck I was doing. But it's fascinating to me that my first few relationships were with white men. And I don't know, subconsciously, I was dealing with something or not. And in 2019, I still know friends that are white that cannot openly date somebody of color because their old school family members wouldn't approve. And, all this madness. And so it took me a minute to not only accept myself as I was. I didn't have to change who I was. I just had to get to the point of accepting that I was different in that way, and that I was the negrita, and some of them would say that I was the refined dark girl back home. And so I was sharing with my sister that I recently, I was on a trip back from, oh my goodness, I was in Atlanta. Was it in Atlanta or Charlotte? Mercy. I was in an airport, and I was sitting in a table, and I had Spanish people, Puerto Rican people were sitting at the other table. And I was telling my sister that, and there was a older couple, and then a young mom and her kids. And the one lady tells the other lady, the older lady tells the lighter lady in regards to me, because now that they think I'm a light-skinned Black girl. So she's telling the daughter, isn't she una prieta fina? Which means, prieta means dark. Isn't she a cute or refined Black-looking person, basically? And, I was messaging my sister and a friend, and my sister even said, let's have a call, a conversation. And so my sister, I can't remember if she called me or I called her, but we're having this whole in Spanish now, because now I want them to know that they're rude behind talking about profiling me as a black person that was light skinned, that was attractive, was off, because I'm also Puerto Rican. And so when I ended the conversation, they were like somewhat stunned that I was not what they expected. And then they saw me at the terminal because we were flying together. And they were somewhat embarrassed for what they said. And so when you look at people, it's 2019, not that it was ever right, but it is 2019. When you look at people, learn to love people for who they are. It doesn't matter what the color of their skin is. Let's stop this foolishness that's been going on for generations in our families, the ignorance. And I know a lot of guys that want to, they want a lighter girl because their babies come out prettier and all this other foolishness. You don't know what your child going to look like. Like, I don't get a lot of that. If people fall in love from another race, that's great. But the colorism is what you do to your child, what you do to those that are around you, that listen to your foolishness, talk about the hair not being the same, the body not being the same. And you create the stigma that this child has to carry as they get older. And for me, it's just part of my story. Now I know that I am beautiful, that I'm unique, that I am, light skin. Some people call it red. I tan easy. And so I've learned to embrace who God created me to be. But it cost me a little bit because I was so self-conscious of my color, of my hair, all the time, my body structure, because you want to be compared to other people. Well, I don't have my genetic and the way God created me is unique to me. And so this week, I just want to encourage you to be the one to step up and have these conversations. I can have conversations with my aunts about my grandmother making these comments, the same thing about my mom predominantly. And so, we need to be kinder to one another, especially with children. Be aware of what you're saying to them that's going to make them feel less of a person or insecure about something. Let's be kind. Let's be gentle. I love black. I go out with my girlfriends and they know that is my preference. More darker than light skin. I talk to all kinds of people and I love all kinds of people. Black, white, doesn't matter, Chinese. I've said it before, if I could meet a person that's a unicorn, I definitely want to meet that person as well. And I treat everybody the same, with the same love, the same respect. And I want the same in return. And when I think of my grandkids and I think of the next generation, wouldn't it be wonderful if race was not a topic of conversation, if the color of your skin was not a topic of conversation? If we can get to the point of breaking those generational curses going forward, because God wouldn't want any of that going on. And so at the end of the day, we all hurt the same, we all bleed the same, we all love the same and are looking for the exact same thing, regardless of the color of your skin. So this week, I just want to encourage you to step out of your zone, or to check yourself. If you're one of those that are always making comments about your child or someone else's child, or talking around your child in regards to other kids or how they look. People are beautiful, each in their own way, and God created them for a reason in that particular, tone. And like I said, I've heard a lot of guys say they want to marry Spanish and they want to marry, this color, that color, because they're kids and this, that, and the other foolishness. At the end of the day, everybody wants healthy children. Everybody wants to be accepted. Everybody wants to be loved. More importantly, everybody wants to be whole. And that path takes a little while because you have to get to the point of forgiveness, self-acceptance, validation only coming from God, and wholeness only comes from Him as well. And so I just want to bless you this week. Have a have a mighty week. Be a blessing to someone. Be of service. Be the person that makes somebody else feel good about who they are, where they're headed, or possibly they are able to find their purpose. Meet me at 0 next week. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.